quickly. If you're a lifestealer at SF and post-song, you just turn, hit the tombstone. That kind of combo's gone. So it's interesting to see teams kind of draft around that sort of idea. And Invoker ban.
Yeah, there's the sort of burst damage potential.
Turn
That's,
to
I don't know why I didn't think of Invoker. It's Weehats, Invoker. It's kind of fits the draft and would have been perfect kind of hero to round it off with. But yeah, the OD otherwise, OD Mirana probably the other two that kind of stand out as those burst damage type mid heroes that could work well for them. And we'll see what WG want to get. I guess they're looking. Clockwork could be a 4. That's the other thing. They could still be looking for the off-lane hero.
Yep.
Something. Yeah, there's a Darkseer ban. In fact, they're expecting the 4 position Clockwork. So looking at Slardar is something like where there's more minus armor. It gives you a good initiation, a good vehicle for the lifestealer, for those infest ganks. But I guess the question is how much you want to commit to the. You're all in on physical damage at some point. SF has obviously Requiem Razors, but you may look to balance it out a bit more, considering you're versing the Winter Wyvern. And even against Naga Siren, you generally want to be able to nuke down the illusions a bit, not just have physical damage, since that can often not entirely work once Naga gets tankier, has the Radiance Mischance, and all that goes with that.
It's going to be very, all on what they pick here as that damage. Just a note for the stream as well, I did just make amends with some of the volumes, so hopefully this is a bit better. We did notice that a lot of you were complaining about bad levels. We've got quite a set here, every bit of gear, so hopefully it sounds a little bit better, but do let us know, and we make amends if it starts to peak and such. But hopefully it sounds a little bit better for your glorious ears there, for you watching and listening at home on Twitch chat.
10 seconds.
But final pick, DC, they're leaving all the reserve time here.
I imagine they're somewhat stumped.
Wind
And Wind Ranger, so the Wii Ranger comes out. Not the best burst damage, but decently difficult to kill, which is good against the Lifestealer. I mean, mostly against the Lifestealer. May likely need to go into a 4-staff against the Clockwork is one of the problems. It's an item that you don't typically want to go in a core Wind Ranger. You want to go straight into your Blink, your Maelstrom, your Acceptor, but if you get hooked, you need an escape. So
how does it do against the SF in the lane?
Pretty good. Wind Rangers, that's probably one of Wind Ranger's strengths as far as if you're looking at like the different scales of where the hero excels, why do you want to pick it? It's very good in the laning stage, just with the really good attack animation, decent base damage. And at level 1, level 2, you have a big advantage over SF until the SF gets souls. So, well, actually, I say that SF gets souls level 1. So actually, that kind of gets thrown out the window a bit here, and the matchup's going to be a lot more even because of that. I like this.
Yeah, as someone did point out, it is the red strat really from Warrior Gaming Unity. Very apt as well with their logo. You know, going in with these red-related heroes, and I feel it's beefy. It's strong, and DC. I mean, it's a very DC draft.
Yep.
You know, and we are going to see Resolution Naga, that finisher as well. The Wii Range is something of a past kind of nod back to when he first came into the pro scene and started obviously playing with Secret. Something that they used to go for a lot in historically.
It's one of those heroes you pick not because you never. I don't think DC's strat book has
you don't think that was the plan.
Wind Ranger strats in there, but you get to that 5th pick and you're like, well, Invoker's banned. There's a Mirana, but it's not great because it's like you're against Magic Immunity from Rage at BKB and SF. You're kind of looking around like, what picks are left? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's the best of the available choices. Yeah.
So you feel that you're pretty happy with how WG drafted with the bans, and so you think they played DC pretty nicely in the draft?
I think they did, but again, it's DC. I think DC come in as slight favorites. It's a Naga strat, so it's one of those things where I often look at like a Naga strat versus like a well-rounded, good 5 heroes that synergize well together and seem to beat the other team, but then Naga just solo carries a game, so it's hard to say too confidently that, hey, WGU just straight up have a better draft because there's so many other factors. And Naga strats never look like they're going to just straight up win a game, but they often do.
We'll see what goes on. I am just going to make some amends. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen at home. This is a bit of a rough. Where's the one where... There we go. Camera speed. Let's knock that beauty down.
2K. Higher than your MMR.
Absolutely. I don't think it's made a difference. I'm sure there's another setting that I meant to change, but never mind. We will persist. As DC smoke up and already looking for the first bit of action. They've got a pretty good lineup to do it with this full 5-man. Lifestealer's going to have the rage potential to try and run away from this, though, so it's questionable how effective this is.
Seen some like DC replays because he's expecting this. Like he's dipping in and out of those trees. Oh, Courier, no Courier. Whoa.
They'll get a ward down at least, Misery. Yeah. And actually getting a second one out as well. They'll look for the D ward, but it's not going to actually catch WG Unity's one.
Oh, and they pop. So WG caught the vision of the win range at the very end, and will likely head towards that top room.
So DC not finding anything in terms of kills, but getting a good bit of vision down. Didn't get the full control in terms of dewarding that of WG's.
Important thing is here, WG scout the lanes out. They now know what's coming their way. If they want to, it looks like they're going to send Lifestealer up top, because DC are trying to aggro tri-lane and then give Sand the 1v1 against Beastmaster, which is a very good lane for Sand King, but WG not having any of it. Are going to jungle the Beastmaster, send Lifestealer top, and probably just like leech XP at bottom with Clockwork if possible. Very weird. Like, you see 5 WG heroes all around the mid lane and top lane right now. Like, right now it looks like they have no idea what they're doing.
This is, it's very interesting to watch. And we're seeing already, I think he's pressed that taunt button 4 times. Is there some kind of gameplay reason for this? Is the animation...
I don't know, but
does it throw off the CSing somehow? I've not seen this taunt before. We'll see if he continues to do it in this lane. As I said, he's already popped that button 4 times. As you said, there's a lot of the kind of attention around the mid lane from both sides. Misery's there to back up, and so is Arfu on this support clock. But RG, of course, coming into lane with the 70 plus right-click damage thanks to that cogs.
Yep.
He is already doing pretty well here, as we yet to hit a CS. He is certainly struggling.
Throws out just some casual harass onto the Shadow Fiend, but it's plenty of HP regen available at the SF. And when you're decayed, you get extra value from Tengos because you're at a lower HP pool.
Top lane.
And you get it back in your business.
This is lane from DC, and Moon and Sax are able to go in, and with the blast and the strike, they find it. Mid lane, Arjit sitting at 360 HP at the moment thanks to the decay spam from Misery. Has to be careful of himself. Throw back a shackle shot trying to hold Alfu away from diving in on Misery, but Ajit, when he's strength this low, he takes a hefty punch from Weeha.
Yes, it makes a big dent in his HP pool. And trying to get up to that bottle without having to buy more Tengos is the big thing there. He's still got the salve to use, but you just really don't want to have to buy more HP regen as a mid laner pre-bottle. I think all in all, WG like there was a bit of a slip up at top lane, I guess, when they gave up that first blood, not expecting the presence of the Winter Wyvern, but they are jungling the Beastmaster, who can jungle very quickly. He can get a fast 6 and then pop out to help the lanes. SF's getting at least the CS he needs. Like, he's 10 CS at a 6 CS of Wind Ranger, so he's doing just fine. It's always going to come down to the Naga Siren problem, and Rezo is free farming down bottom.
Yeah, we have Nana coming down here now as well. Arfu was looking for some sort of wraparound, see if he could get a catch out, but it's a pretty hard lane for WG Unity at least to get any sort of kills, especially with Misery hanging around. He is going to be more than ready to back up Rezo. He's still yet to put that second skill point in, but a Soul Rip will be there if required. Mid lane, Weeha resorting to the Sows, and still 12 against the 8. Obviously denies massively exaggerated because of the cogs that the SS taking, but as we can see, you can imagine that is actually a fair few real, genuine denies in there as well, leading him ahead of Weeha.
Yeah, I think he went to lane with like 12 or 13, so
something like that,
he's definitely got him like 7 or 8 denies, and is having a good time in this straight 1v1 matchup now. Wind Ranger really struggles to, SF's at 90 plus damage. Wind Ranger's sitting on 66, so there's no competition here when it comes to last hitting. We with the bottle is likely going to have to use some power shots to start getting more last hits.
One area that we've not really talked about is Moon on the SK. Obviously we saw him involved in that first bit of action up top, but since then he has been absolutely bullying this lane. He's top of the CS, and X-Nova rightfully is very, very scared of how close he gets to this SK.
It's an empty lane, effectively. Like
free lane.
The Beastmaster's jungling, the Lifestealer's in the safe lane, so he knows free lane. Speaking of Lifestealer, he gets very close to going down.
I just walked into a Riptide and took a few punches there, Nana. I'm sure it was calculated. He knew it was fine. He had the stick charges at the ready, but very, very close encounter there for him on the bottom.
He's using open wounds. He got 2 points in the open wounds. He's just using it on creeps to try and heal back up in the lane. Doesn't want to have to go back to base to heal up or anything.
Jit doing very well as it continues. 24, more than doubling Weeha CS now, and that DD in his bottle is not going to make life any easier for the Wind Ranger in the mid lane. Yeah. As SF is having an absolutely fantastic start. Top lane though, apologies for missing it, but Moon and Sax are going in and getting the line for the second time this game. That's X-Nova down. Arfu's actually going to TP in on this one. Saxa and Moon might look to play with him. They have another Burrow Strike. So what they do, Moon's going to go in, and they're going to just look to right-click him down. They've still got a range creep tanking up the tower, and Arfu We'll get away. It's not going to be quite enough,
Moon
is it?
got very low. Afu waited to use the battery assault there. I was surprised he caught Saxa alone in it and he didn't really use the battery assault. Nice dodge of the Splinter Blast.
Oh,
and
Moon's
Moon
mangoed.
wants in.
Oh,
Close. Oh god, Moon's going to have such a fast blink dagger.
it's ridiculous. Look at the money. 5 minutes in and 1,600 gold.
Yep. They're pushing the tower too. The cold embrace on the creep.
And what the hell's the clock doing? I mean, does he want to give Moon like the quickest blink we've seen in?
There is fog in that area, and I think that was partly why, where he like wasn't expecting Moon to still be there because it's nighttime. You don't have great vision there, but yeah, still a big mistake that, like you say, give Moon everything you could hope for in this lane.
I mean, but this blink dagger timing is really, it's going to be 6-minute blink. It really is at this rate.
It is now a 5.5-minute level 6 on Beastmaster. Good timing. He's smoked up, looking for that first.
But the thing is,
kill.
they smoked up just in the last few seconds.
I know been gone on at mid, but he didn't go down. He's now bottling up, and he wants to turn around.
Can they actually get anything with the smoke? Because DC know about this. That last few seconds of that ward gave them the intel.
Oh, okay.
So they know that WGU smoked up, and they're ready. They're prepared. They're backing up. Saxa's there. They do have the number advantage at the moment, but as you can see, the scan from DC, they know exactly where Afu and Kangaroo are. So,
this is, if anything, they can use this to bait.
I mean, this could get very bloody.
And he went back to home, so the big thing is there he's now got full HP and mana. Like, it's a very selfless play. Often you're like, okay, I got my blink, but I want to stay in my lane and keep farming, or I want to just buy my blink from the side shop and not TP home. But he TP'd back to base to make sure he's able to fight now.
We're going to see DC try and show WG how to smoke. There was some, I think they were still in the trees. There was some at the front of it. I don't think it caught it.
Yeah, there was the Hawk there, but it was just out of range of the smoke, I want to say.
So let's see what Moon gets to jump. Hey, no points in epicenter yet. It looks like he doesn't need it. Straight in with the Burrow Strike. Misery as well. Bring him down low. A good shackle shot into the power shot. Brings Arjit low, but not quite low enough. Afu comes in with a coach. They do end up finishing the SF with the blast from Saxon. Now they'll turn towards Afu. A second Burrow Strike from Moon, catching out the clock as DC get away with the 2 kills in the mid lane, and Moon continuing his rise to more and more money. He must have spent some money then, did he? Has it got something on the courier? No, okay, he didn't. I don't know where that money went. That's odd.
On Moon Sand King?
Yeah. He just got involved.
They bought the... Oh,
he bought TP?
I didn't get much for TP. And it was like a... I don't think he got any money for it.
Oh, I guess was he just out because he didn't... Yeah, because the Arctic Blast was miles away, yeah.
Yeah, so I think only the Wyvern got any
value
gold for it. So yeah, he was just, it was like out of range. He basically got nothing because of for the kill itself. But obviously his team get a lot. They're up now 5-0. They've kept the Naga Siren free farming. Rezo is still in the offlane.
Misery has walked into a bit of a kerfuffle here. Misery to keep himself alive. He's trying his best here with the Soul Rip and the Decay, but it's not enough. There's 4 WG Unity surrounding him and bringing him down. So they get themselves the first kill on the board here, WG. But still, I mean, not just Moon is having a good game. We're looking at Rezo, and he is top of the CS. At the start, we saw him have a pretty easy lane, and then obviously Nana came down on the lifestealer, trying to cause some issues, but those issues were pretty minor. Yep. As 8 minutes in, Resolution is going to be very happy with how this game's open.
Yeah, it's really nice. The big thing is they kill the SF there, because Sand King, it's kind of like an opportunity cost where he stops himself farm. He could have kept farming in top lane. He could have likely taken that T1 tower. He was king of the top lane. He was creep skipping past the tower. He got down to 300 HP, but instead of pushing the T1 tower, he rotates mid, so you have to get the SF kill there. Any other hero wouldn't have really been worth it, but breaking the SF, taking down his soul count, and slowing down his farm is a big thing there. But it is still WG. Good position to
he's not having a good time down bottom.
Yeah, he's getting bullied a lot.
He really is. I mean, he's trying to do his best to hang around. The Riptide keeps bringing him low, so he plays around with the idea of staying close, but a quick Soul Rip comes in and finishes him off. Nova was nearly in trouble as well, but of course, nothing that they can do to stop that. No points in the net yet.
Top lane Clockwork's going on, but couldn't get out.
Close. Lives. But it's kind of aggression from DC. The fact that Resolution's getting himself involved in kills as well. Now they're putting pressure onto the bottom tier 1. 6-1. It's looking like DC are just on another level at the moment in this game. Anna, can you get Misery here? Oh, there's no point. It's cool. Still on Soul Rip. So.
Straightforward solo kill.
Yep.
Nice, just keeping on the trees there. You don't see if he sees that TP coming in, it's not going to work. But he used the bottle ball over the tree light for his TP nicely. And Nana, at least now back to full HP, level 8. He's in an alright position to farm up his armlet and probably then look to... Ideally for WG, you want to try to get clock level 6 at some point because that's where the life stealer can really come into play. Having the vehicle for his infest ganks. Alternatively, you go around with the Beastmaster, but life stealer doesn't want to go right away. He wants to ideally finish an armlet before he starts taking part in fights. Unless the fights come to him, Beastmaster can smoke to his lane. It's more life stealer doesn't want to give up farming a lane. They are, in fact, looking for that Naga Siren kill, but Rezo, some good map awareness will get him out of there.
Avoiding the movement of Kangaroo, Nana, and Arfu there on the bottom lane. And immediately coming out, DC, Misery, and Moon smoked up. With the epicenter at the ready, they could look to try and put a stop to this push coming in from WG Unity and see if they find the opening to get a jump on these. Yeah, they've got more backup as well. Rezo and Saxa coming in, and this is a little messy as DC, they've already got the lockdown and straight away onto the clockwork. The cogs trying to look for TP out, but the damage, it should be more than enough. And oh, the caustic. Oh, he lives.
Even verified, but
the infused range drop in the one there saving him.
It was a sick play using the cogs to block off everyone. He knows that Winter Wyvern had the curse, but the cast range was likely too far for him. If he walked forward, he hits the cogs, he may not get it off. And is it really worth it just to kill a clockwork there? So great cogs TP and nice escape after he gets himself out of there. Seems like WG are going to prioritize getting Alliance level 6. He's taken over this top lane for now, so he'll get his level 6 and then probably smoke up with the Beastmaster, give a lane to the Clockwork, because once Lion 6, then it's like, okay, Lion's got 6, stop farming a lane, give a lane to Clockwork, and come and gank with us. So WG Uni have their work cut out for them. DC are winning the early game hard with the Naga Siren. They've taken multiple towers now. They've got this Blink Dagger. It's DC making all the right moves, getting good farm on Naga Siren. 2k gold already. WG have to respond to this. They can't try and farm their way back in. They have to get kills.
Yeah, they really do those levels. Incredibly crucial. They do look like they want to try and do something up top, but already, you know, with the vision that DC have, they're aware of this, and they may even want to try and do something in reaction. Sax has come in, Moon's there as well, and Misery's also making his way up towards this top tier 1. As they are going to look to try and put a stop to whatever WG Unity want to pull out on this top lane. And indeed, at the moment, it's going all watched as they've got their number.
Yeah, it's really what you mentioned. The vision has just been really good by DC. Having that ward there to scout out that rotation up top. And there will be a smoke back. WG may find Wee at the top rune.
Oh, he doesn't even go for it. And he taunts as well. He's straight out there.
Damn, he knew exactly where they were coming from. That was impressive stuff.
Just
great map
again,
awareness.
and a straight down. They pop a ward themselves, WG, trying to, realizing that the vision is what's holding them back. They need more intel themselves to be able to pull out these kind of movements, these plays, and have the chance of catching out members of DC. That's not happening at the moment.
It's been a very impressive early game showing from DC.
Even like that, they're coming in, they're looking for Saxa.
Ooh, that was close.
And straight back in, Moon jumps in with the Burrow Strike, and again, it's this same ward.
Yep.
They were like, yeah, we could try and walk it forward, but they just not realized that DC see everything that they do around this part of the map.
And Lion's one of those heroes where, like, anytime you have Finger up, you want to be using it. You don't want to sit there with Finger available for, like, 3 minutes straight. So dying as a Lion when you've just hit level 6, like, if you die as a Lion after using Finger to get killed, it's fine.
I mean, Kangaroo's playing around it, but they see it all. Yeah. They jump in, he will try for the TP. He may just keep himself alive, but again, playing with death here in this area of the map, it would do WG Unity's best interest to just avoid this part entirely before they can get good control over it in terms of vision themselves, as it's a little bit of a death trap at the moment.
You know, rewatch this replay and be like, oh, that's where the ward is. Because they've got 2 sentries up there. They put the sentries in the common ward spots on that cliff as well as in the lane. But it's not a lane ward. It's actually a much more defensive ward than you'd expect. But when you think about it, you're playing with a Naga Siren. You're the team that wants to just sit back defensively. You don't really care about kills with DC. Yeah, you're up 7-2, but your main priority right now is getting Naga Radiant. Number 2 priority, get win ranges some farm. Number 3 priority, get some kills on your Sand King. But they're managing to do all 3 of those thanks to the Great Wards.
Talking about Naga, it's Relic is complete. It's good timing. It's very, very good timing indeed.
Making that same move up top, again the same ward seeing them. And this is just WG kind of bringing numbers, basically making a show of force to force the tower. Something that DC can't really. They're trying to defend it with a Splinter Blast, but Beastmaster's doing a good job to zone the win rate. Oh,
it's a nice hook shot. So they should get something out of this one as well as just the tower. And indeed, with a hook shot into Raw, they look for Saxa. He's making them work for it. Finally goes down there to a raise from Arjit.
It's not the most worthwhile kill in tower. That they bring 5 heroes to force the tower. Saxa didn't have to die there, but he was more just trying to delay it. Like if he managed to outplay them there with a couple good Splinter Blasts or like a Winter's Curse from the trees, he could have made some sick plays there. But him dying doesn't really hurt DC at all. It was just him trying to make a play. And
this Beastmaster Kangaroo, a little ambitious there with how far he moves forward. DC immediately punishing him there for that movement, just hanging in the lane. The rest of the team are back, but Kangaroo said, boys, I got this tier 2. And DC said, nah, we've got you. Oh, hey. He wants to.
He almost had that lined up, but some sixth sense brought him back a different direction. That could have been a game-changing Invis potentially, but no, not the case. Ideally, you want to find the Naga with it. Naga deep in the jungle and not a direction the SF wants to walk into when you don't really know where, or you're going to run into sentries, and if you feed running in there with an Invis ring, it's like a disaster for an SF at that point. But Necro 1-up, so again, they've still got this Finger of Death. It's been a good like 7 minutes where they've had Finger Up and not used it, and that's just like wasted time as a line. You're not really getting much done if you're not using Finger. Hasn't been able to contribute too much. I mean, similarly, we haven't seen that Infest yet from the life, so they could look to Pat, who's going to go into the Hawk. It's another nice little synergy you can do. Hawk is going to go flying over those trees on the east side of the map, and they're looking to make some little nifty plays around this bottom lane. Ideally catching out the Winter Wyvern, but that's a hard hero to kill.
This is, yeah, I mean, can he actually get the kill with this? He's pretty deep. Does he really want to jump out? He actually does. In the midst of 4 members, he's got the backup on its way. Hookshot's going to miss, though, unfortunately. WG has to think twice about sticking around for this one. Moon coming in with a beautiful 2-man Burrow Strike. Shackle is not going to latch, but the damage with the Maelstrom and the Power Shot will be enough. The Sleep's there to cancel Arfu's TP, make sure that DC find themselves a second kill. They may not be done yet. Arjit is able to TP out. They don't quite find him. But some very aggressive attempt at a play there from WG.
Not sure what the plan is when you're trying to engage there. Yeah, send the bird in. It's just strange because you have no way to get that first kill. The Winter Wyvern pick completely counters Lifestealer's initiation. So if you want to go for that kill, you need magic damage as well. Or you need to Disable the Wyvern. That works if you go out as, let's say, the Clockwork hooks the Wyvern or Beastmaster roars the Wyvern, but there wasn't a great line for Clockwork. Lion doesn't have a blink. Beastmaster doesn't blink. Those heroes can't get in the same way Lifestealer can. So for Lifestealer to go for that kill felt very ambitious. And even if, I mean, Clockwork, I think missing the hook defender thing was good for his team. If he hit that hook and then went in,
the rest of his team's lives. Yeah.
I think that fight was a disaster from the beginning. That was just the wrong approach. I think they're kind of feeling under pressure. The game's not going according to plan. They know Rezo is farming like crazy on Naga Siren, so they're kind of in this state where it's like, shit, we've got to do something. The draft's not working. They can tell they're losing. They're losing really bad right now. This game is looking disastrous.
I mean, what's the overall net worth looking at? It is. It's not too. It's
disastrous,
like but it's
you're losing versus Naga.
That's what it is.
You're versing a Naga. You meant to win the early game. At least, like you're basically playing 5v4 for the first 15 minutes, and they're losing the game. It's not even just 5v4. It doesn't feel like Wee's been involved in it. Wee's just been farming and not dying, and it's just been Moon plus Saxa.
I mean, Moon starts this game really has been the catalyst for just how well this is.
9 of the 10 kills. Yep. Saxa is in 7 of them. Like these two players have been fantastic this game for DC to create space for the Naga and Wind Ranger.
Yeah, and it really is interesting to see Saxa do this on the Wyvern, a hero that for kind of a long period of this patch was considered to be very hard to find a position for in a draft, but some teams are now starting to play it with varying levels of success, and certainly this game so far, Saxa showing us how it's done.
They have to find some way to go on him at the start of the fight because they have too much physical damage that they're relying on, like between the Lifestealer and SF, that they need to take out the Winter's Curse as well as the Cold Embrace. Ideally, Saxon needs to be the raw target in these fights. I think that's kind of how they have to approach the fights, where they go on him or with the Clockwork, but the problem is you hook him, then he can ideally fly out with the Arctic Burn. So even for that, he may have an escape.
Down bottom, they're looking for him and they're going to find him. Arfu trying to hide in the tree line. Power shot to make short work of the defenses that he was trying to protect himself with.
Just reading the game so well. I mean, from Wee has Bounty Rune Deny at top where he dodges the gank to plays like that. Rezo dodging the ganks. Like he TP out of the bottom lane at the exact time that the ganks were coming from WG. It feels like DC have just read every movement that WG make and managed to dodge everything. I mean, it's a Lifestealer Beastmaster Lion clock draft with 3 kills at 20 minutes.
Saxon gone on Moon. The epicenter of the ready. Here we go. Jumps in, finds the burrow strike onto Nana, getting huge amounts of damage. There's no rages available. He's trying to armor his way out of this.
Infest.
Might actually make the infest, but no. The blast perfectly timed there by Saxa.
He was trying to infest. If he got that, he had to use that Winter's Curse
for a little bit longer.
Yeah, may have. It's hard to say how long he lives because he goes in the enemy creep, and if it never gets down to deny range, so Saxa prevents him from doing it.
I mean, it really was perfect timing. That damage instance must have hit just as the kind of the protection came out.
It's really nice with the stun bars now. It's so easy to time it perfectly. It's like an indirect buff to Winter Wyvern with adding those stun bars, but.
And at this point, this is the scary thing with the Room Ranger. 20 minutes in, if you've got Blink, if you've got Maelstrom, the solo pickoff potential is absolutely disgusting. It's insane damage.
This game's going to get ugly soon, but and we've seen Saxa. To me, he's been the MVP of the early game. The first, I guess Moon you could say as well, but he was the one who got Moon the first blood, and he's just been there defending the pushes, making all these really nice plays with the Cold Embrace, the Winter's Curse, the Splinter Blood. Everything about his play has been on point this game, and it's been a sight to watch. But now we're going to enter that stage where Rezo and we will take over with their core heroes.
Absolutely, yeah. Saxa kind of set the scene, and Rezo and we are coming in to be the stars of this part of the show. But the opening was all on Saxa and certainly on Moon's play as well, with the timing that he got and the plays we just able to make around the map. And indeed, in this game so far, it's just looking like a very, very clean team performance from DC. Really nice synergy, knowing exactly how to play this draft. And as we kind of questioned the Wind Ranger pick at the start, it's certainly seeming to work out now. Yeah,
the big thing with the pick and why it's worked is because it doesn't die. It's elusive. They haven't been able to successfully kill him at all in that middle lane. The hero itself hasn't had like an amazing explosive impact on this game. It's 4-0-3, which is very good, but it's not been really defending the lanes. He's come to the fights when he's needed to. He's just stayed alive, and there's been countless ganks headed his way. Like there's probably been at least 2, I want to say even 3 smoke ganks towards that mid lane, and every single one has failed because they didn't even bother trying to gank Naga, because Naga's got the sleep escape and Naga's just always protected. Often it's we unprotected, but he's managed to stay alive on his own.
I'm seeing a good Ancient stacker as well for the team. I'll put the Tombstone down to tank up the damage of the Ancients so they can clear it a bit safer.
They're happy to just farm if they want to. I mean, for DC, they're almost reaching that point where they're strong enough where they could just teamfight regardless, but it's also very viable for them to just go late game, win with a 4, 5, 6 slotted Naga. They're in no big rush as it stands right now.
I mean, with these Ancients as well, they're giving them to Wii because they want him to get this good timing on the Aghanim follow-up.
Yep.
By the looks of it, and already point boost to 700 God, he's pretty much halfway there.
I mean, for WG, it's really go time now. Okay, they don't go for the. I saw Nana with a Mythical Hammer and thought he was going to Gesso that, but he goes for the Maelstrom, so he's almost gearing up for the late game to be able to combat the Naga Siren split push a bit better, push out the lane. This is kind of like a very defeated type item pickup where it's like, well, the game's not going our way, our draft's not working. What's a possible plan B? And he's thinking more long term. So realistically, Lifesteal is going to struggle to scale for reasons mentioned earlier, where the Ensnare will lock him down in the rage. We've got lots of disables like Shackle and Fire Strike that can catch you out instantly before you get a rage off. So I think WGU needs to continue to make moves. They're smoking up, but it's not going to be in time to stop Roche.
On the wrong side of the map, WG at the moment, as Roche is down, Aegis into the hands of Weeha. And we'll see if they want to try and follow through with this. Arfu is looking for some action. What about the rocket flare? Is he going to commit for this? He tries to, but he's not going to find the hook shot.
Again, that's probably for the better.
I was going to say.
I don't know how that would have went for Arfu.
And he's in a lot of trouble now. Power shot and last Maelstrom proc comes through, and this Glock's out. Nana could be in trouble as well. Saxa coming in from the sideline, laying down the slow onto this Lifestealer. Nana to pay off his life as well, and they're not done.
Oh, no.
Rezo's moving forward. They've got the song onto both the Shadow Fiend and the Lion. Moon and Resolution closing in onto X-Nova. On the backlines, Weeha, Saxa and Misery finish off. Oh, the Shadow Fiend. Oh, Jit. He's out, and this As you said, it was going to get messy very, very quickly, and it certainly is. 17-4, 24 minutes in, and DC, it feels like they're running away with this game.
Yeah. Kang's got the right idea. He's just top, creep skipping waves, trying to split push a bit, but there's very little way to fight into this team. Even with the BKB pickup, that play around mid could have worked if DC won at rush. If DC decided to defend that mid tier 1 tower, and if it'd gone there a bit faster, DC tries to defend it, you jump them, catch someone like it was Wyvern, you could win that fight through that smoke. But by the time they got there smoked up, DC were as 5 ready for it. They saw it coming. They had an Aegis themselves, so there was no real easy way to win the fight at that point.
It's just been very, very impressive play from DC, obviously, with that first series of the day, going up against LGDFY, having a win now here, to be pretty strong. Oh, my God, he nearly survived. The Glimmer Cape resistant, not enough to save him at the end of the day, but Moon wants to go back in with the epicenter, jumps in, hits the stun onto one, Shackle's not going to latch, and Nana will survive with the finger that should be able to take down the clock. They'll take the Tombstone as well. They may be able to even find more. We gets the blink out. Arfu looking to chase down. We are just turns around and kills the Clockwork. Does WeAre want to go for some sort of a play here? He may think about doing so. Shackle isn't going to latch, and that could put the end to what could have potentially been a nice little flashy play from him. He's blinking forward, seeing if they can find Nana. DC do end up losing a couple there in that fight. Asia's down as well. Yep. So WG with the best team fight they've had so far this game.
Yeah, it was mostly misplays from DC in some ways. They were going for the T2 tower, and then suddenly backdoor protection kicked in. It wasn't there at the start. They were actually slowly killing it, and then when the backdoor protection kicked in, we was already like 100 HP, and Winter Wyvern was also starting to get low by taking the tower, so it was like, oh crap, we're not killing the tower, what's happening? We can't out-DPS this, and then panic ensued. But I mean, by panic for DC, it's like you lose a couple heroes, and it's not really the end of the world losing a Wyvern and a Sand King at this point. You've still got your cores alive and farming well.
I mean, farming well feels like an understatement now at this point for Rezo. You know, it's just 26 minutes in. Radiance and the Octarine for the Manta Star, just because of the pace that he's farming. And Manta Star itself is going to be right around the corner in about 1,000 or so gold. A few more waves, and he's going to have that as well. Pre-30 minutes, it really is a question of how WG Unity can even think of ways to deal with this Naga at this stage of the game with the draft and lineup they've got. Obviously, they have some ways to deal with the illusions, but it's just going to be so hard in these fights when the rest of DC turns up around Rezo.
Yep, exactly that. They can fight around Rezo, fight around the sleep, fight around the Radiance and the tankiness of Naga now with the Octarine plus Manta coming up. They don't need to rely on Naga avoiding fights and split pushing because of just how far ahead Rezo is in terms of overall farm. And kind of see it here, they're grouping up, they're looking to make plays in both top and mid lane, take out that last out of towers. You can kind of starve out your enemy at that point. Once you've taken all 6 out of towers, you just get wards up around their base, pick up a gem, and you don't let WG Unity leave their base. Naga Siren Illusion's very good at that, even with the line in the picture. Line can only be in one lane at a time, doesn't have Blink, doesn't have Tranquil Boost. This line has 0 mobility whatsoever. Has managed to max out Mana Drain is the good news, but still is going to struggle to stop all these illusions from farming.
I guess the question is how aggressive DC want to be at this point. I mean, do you think we'll see them just go straight in for the high ground, or can they just kind of chill out and play the game at their own pace and just continue to wait for WG to make mistakes?
I think they're going to play it pretty slow and steady with the Naga illusions, just slow siege with them. But you have all 3 lanes pushed out and then send like 2 or 3 illusions onto the tier 3 tower. It's that slow chip Dota that is can be very exciting to watch, of course.
Classic Naga stuff.
But yeah, realistically, they don't have heroes to hit buildings with. Wind Ranger's not amazing, and the focus fire can be alright, but you don't see like it's not like a Deso or anything kind of gimmicky like that. It's just more like a standard Wind Ranger build. So until you get like a big DPS items, Wind Ranger's not hitting buildings.
Surely he doesn't get it. No, they get the roar out. That all comes through, but he's already raised the Lifestealer, so he's able to kill off Moon. But here comes Saxel with the ultimate, cancelling the TP, holding Nana in place. They've got the Lifestealer and the Beastmasters. DC turn around that play from WG Unity and slam it straight back in their faces.
Yep. I mean, it's DC who are going to be the reactionary team. Like that's DC, not DC being aggressive, that's DC reacting with force when WG go aggressive. It's kind of plays that WG need to make. They again, they're getting starved out. They can't just sit in their base and take what little scraps of food that DC throw at them. They have to make moves out on the map. So ideally for them, they get that kill and then they immediately escape. But DC are too quick to react. And also, DC still have tier 1 towers up there. Tier 1 bottom, tier 1 mid. They can easily get back into position. And unfortunately, that sets up WGU needs to possibly lose a tier 3 tower here in the bottom lane.
This push indeed. We'll see what WGU's answer is going to be. Still 2 heroes down for a little bit too long, but certainly long enough for DC to do serious amounts of damage here on this push. RG just clearing the wave. Tier 3 down, more money into the pockets of DC. Trying to keep the mid lane pushed in as well. Top lane is moving quite far over side of the map of DC, but Rezo's got that covered. TP's over. And we'll make sure that all 3 waves and lanes are pressured onto WG's half of the map.
Yep. All good in the DC world. Probably thinking about that next Roshan as maybe a timing where they could possibly go high ground. Again, it's not like they're in any rush. Even if they get that Aegis and don't. Just on the edge.
That really must have been the last millisecond. That was close. He gets him. Oh, hello. All right. He actually survives for the time being. I mean, he does need to be careful.
There was an epicenter somewhere ahead.
Yeah, Moon epi'd on the Lion. They'll come in, they'll surround Kangaroo. Moon is out of mana, and Nana coming in. They can't quite get the killer because of the cold embrace, keeping Moon alive. Arjit does have a Shadow Blade and a Requiem at the ready. Not looking for the stun. Arjit in the middle of it, all going for the big Requiem play. He'll get a huge amount of damage out. Weehaw taken out by one more raise if he can find it, but it looks like he's already used Weehaw survives, and indeed Arjit, he didn't have the energy in the tank to pop him up, and in come DC back onto the SF. Moon jumps back through. They'll take the Shadow Fiend out. Nana trying to eat down on the Tombstone, but DC, they're hungry. They're ready to chomp down on the Light Skin himself. Gets himself inside one of the creeps. They just need to take that out, and they could finish him off. Tanks jumping in. You can find this kill. Nana and Arthur on their retreat back to the base. The Splinter Blast catches out the Clockwork. Nova's there on the line though to hold them back, and Nana ends up surviving. Yeah, they want to look for Zaxxon. They'll find it. Finger and all. Nana coming in for the last touch. We have in the high grass. He can finish off Nana, but Nana survives. Keeps himself alive here. Power shot's going to miss. And through it all, Nana stays alive.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of salvaged it in some ways. Like I guess it's still not a great fight for them losing the SF. That was like the SF's moment to shine. He was so close.
He was setting up for something big. And it was a decent ult. It was just as you said, one more raise and he would have had that Weehaw kill.
He was short mana and he was like maybe 150, 200 range away from being right on top of the Wind Ranger. Like the ultimate didn't do like quite the full potential of the damage. He actually cancelled the first one thinking, oh, maybe Wind Ranger should walk into me. Didn't happen, so he's like, oh, screw it. It's good enough. It should be enough damage, and it wasn't. If he just walked a little bit closer, it was... I mean, that was the time for WGU. He was invised in, the detection wasn't there, he was catching him by surprise. He just didn't quite have what it took to do enough damage, or didn't have the items. Like if you have like a MKB at that point, or some kind of extra damage in the tank, you can maybe make it work, but DC just so much sustain, just good enough positions, and now they buy the gem. I think they recognize like, okay, that fight, that was almost a bad fight for us. And if they got like, if they lose everyone there, I don't think Rezo dies, but they could have theoretically lost like 3 or 4 heroes outside of Rezo. That could have been some comeback potential there. So this gem is like looking to solve some of those.
I mean, just look at what Rezo's doing. I mean, it's obviously standard Naga things, but the control that he's putting out onto this map, just shoving in all the lanes, as we are very insistent on waiting for Roshan. It will be there very, very shortly, 15 seconds. But Butterfly now done on Nagasaran as well.
It's the building hitting item for the most part. The illusions obviously benefiting most from Agi when it comes to getting extra damage. So this just means the Naga will have slightly better capabilities of actually breaking buildings. And there's no point taking up your illusions because regardless of HP, 1 mana drain, they die. So I think Rezo's like, well, what's the best way to get DPS on them? And also, Life Stealer, as far as his ability to clear illusions, is going to be limited to the evasion. But more than anything, Agi is the way to go as a Naga. Radiant Scan just to protect this top tier 2 tower, so Nana gets the tier 2, but it is covering for a Roshan.
Yeah, and already Rezo sending himself back to help cover that push on the top lane. Aegis into the hands of Weehaw. And we'll see how heavy DC want to go in on this, because they certainly should have the upper hand in a full-scale team fight. Overall net worth still leading by just over 15,000.
That could be in trouble. They're pinging him out. They know he's there.
the Rage TP, but the Winter's Curse is there. Saxa again, setting up for the team.
He's been where he needs to be every single time.
This is showing us how scary a Wyvern still can be.
Yeah, this is
really
this is one of the best Wyvern. This is the best Wyvern game I've seen in such a long time.
A long time.
So life still down, no buyback. He went all in on the Mjolnir. This is likely going to be the opening that DC need to break the high ground. They've got Aegis on the Wind Rangers, so that means Weeha can also help with the buildings. And very likely WGU are going to lose 1, maybe 2 lanes of Raxes off of this.
Radiant's middle tower.
Now looking for the setup camp
They're
here.
pushing mid and bottom at the same time. They don't even care about sticking together right now. That's how confident DC are.
Radiant's bottom
What are they going to do about it,
barracks
WG? They're still without Nana for 20-odd seconds. DC will be able to take the melee racks bottom. And mid lane, we'll see how much they can get done. Tier 3 to 4.
Radiant's middle
Archie trying to do his best to hold back this push. Saxa trying to finish off the range racks as well. Bottom, Weeha and the gang.
It's reacting, couldn't get raw there.
Should find this one.
Yep.
Let's see if they can get kills out of this. They'll jump in. Immediately the song is there from Rezo, and can they actually do anything? BKB from Archie, they want to try and fight into this. If they got the catch though, that's the question. Jump off the gang. He's going to roar onto Weeha, but immediately the Winter's Curse is back there. Lays it down to Nana. Moon coming in the midst of it all. They're pop 3, they're pop 4. Archie is surrounded as well. DC just wiping WG to the ground.
That was beautiful. Beautiful Dota from DC.
It really, really was. And I think a lot of the times a Wyvern pick comes up in the draft and people are like, lol, Wyvern. But now, if you see DC doing it, you're going to be excited.
That was good stuff. I mean, that all-in play at the end there looked a bit like desperate and poorly executed from WG, but that's, again, you're versing a Naga. Versing a Naga is probably when Naga makes you play worse. That's what that hero does. Like, you always feel under pressure. We saw it in the early to mid-game where they were just using these smokes, really trying to push too far and trying to do too much with some of their ganks and rotations and got punished for it. DC knew it. They're kind of basically exploiting the fact that WG Unity are a lesser experienced team. They didn't really play very composed, whereas DC, they were ready for every move. They just sat back. DC were ahead like 10 or 11 kills to 3 without even ganking. At no point were DC... Moon made that first one smoke rotation, but I feel like we never saw DC smoke other than that once.
No.
They were always the ones...
It was just that, yeah.
They wait for WG to come to them, and then it's like, okay, they came to us, let's TP and let's kill them. I think that's the only smoke I really remember DC making all game. There probably was another hero there, but realistically, the plays were all coming from WG Unity, but DC had the counterplays, and they were just twice as strong.
Yeah, and a lot of it did go down to kind of the lanes at the start. The fact that Moon and Saxa had such a good start on that top lane. You know, so Moon got all the space he needed. Saxa was able to get involved in the kills. And yeah, DC, their game 1 with a very, very strong performance against WG Unity. It's going to be interesting to see how WG are able to pick themselves up in game 2 against this, as it is looking, going off that game at least, that DC is just on another level. So we'll see what happens.